So yesterday I asked a really tough question. And I want to respond to that question, but I want to start by sharing something that my husband's been saying lately, and that is that in any group of people, there are usually a few different levels. First is the people who like things the way they are. They really don't care about change. They want to leave it as is. Then you have the second group of people, and that group of people are those that recognize things are broken and we need change even if we don't know where to start. Then there's a third group of people, and those are the people life is busy and chaotic and difficult and hard, and I just don't have time right now. So I want to make it really clear the goal is to address the people that are in the middle, the people that really have a heart to create a space for change. And I'm going to start by sharing a scripture, and that's Romans 14:19, that says, make every effort to do what is necessary to bring peace and mutual edification. So by mutual edification, it's really talking to both sides and finding a way for our needs to be met without ignoring the other side. And I think that starts specifically with the race issue with a common misconception. And I want to kind of parallel and share a story in order to make it as simple as possible. So when I was pregnant with my daughter, I worked full-time, went to school full-time, I did an internship, I was putting in probably 50 hours a week. So by the 9th month, I was completely exhausted. And I showed up one day to my husband's job to take him lunch, and his comment to me was, wow, you look bad. Now, he could not possibly understand what my body was going through at that moment. In fact, that day I was admitted and I delivered my daughter. Now for me personally, I only had a 4-hour labor, but shortly after being admitted, I knew I had to call someone for backup that had been here. So I picked up the phone, I called my aunt, and she showed up, and she was a godsend, honestly. When he was watching the contractions spike and making comments about how big the next one was going to be, she was coaching me through how to breathe and get through it. Didn't take any pain meds and delivered both of my kids natural. But oftentimes, regardless of what our story is when it comes to labor, a man will never be able to understand the pain that our body goes through as a woman. So I am going to probably kind of appeal to women here, in the sense that our stories are all different and unique. For some of us, our labors are long, others are short. The recovery period can be different for each one of us. But at the end of the day, if a man were to respond to our labor pain with, well, it hurts too when I get kicked in certain spaces, we would wonder what in the world he's talking about, because he has no clue what our bodies are going through. If someone were to respond to our recovery, oh, well, you should just get over it, we would not be very happy, because I was told, at least, that in both of my pregnancies, I could expect my body to take just as long to go back as it took to get there. So this concept and this idea that we have that for whatever reason, Black people should just get over it, or that I have pain too, it still doesn't address or acknowledge the fact that their pain is real. And I guess that's the whole point, right? Is that in labor, you may not be able to understand at all as a man what it is that my body is going through, but you can see it, and you can at least be empathetic towards it and acknowledge that while I don't understand, the pain is real. And so I guess that's where I feel like we're at right now. For the first step is just acknowledging that the pain is real, and everybody's story is different and it's not the same, and we can't lump it all in one box, but it's real. And the second piece is, okay, so how do we heal? How do we recover from that? And so to that, I look to 1 Peter 4:8, and that says, above all, love each other deeply, because love covers a multitude of sins. With my kids, even with my nephews, oftentimes, when they were young or they would throw a fit or get upset, I just wrapped my arms around them and hugged them. They didn't always have the words to explain what they were feeling. They couldn't always explain why they're upset. But something had happened to make them upset. And the best way to diffuse the situation was to just acknowledge that the pain was real and to cover them with my love. And so that is my challenge to you today. Can we do that as a community? Can we as a nation decide to embrace our Black community, our Black brothers and our sisters, and just love them? Not debate whether the pain is real, acknowledge that it's there, not talk about how long ago things did or didn't happen, because much of the time it happens on a daily basis that we don't see and we don't know what's going on. And then begin to heal. You know, one of the things that I will genuinely say, because this is about mutual edification, that while there is some law enforcement that has made some really bad decisions, more recently, I have seen some officers do some amazing things and go out of their way to show love to the community. So if we truly want to talk about, you know, Black Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter, let's take their lead. Let's show up to soccer games like they've been bringing Gatorades. Let's stop and have those conversations. Let's take a knee. Let's walk beside the protesters. Let's join hands with somebody who doesn't look like or think like us and take the time to have a cup of coffee. And so I'm extending that invitation. If you don't look like me and you don't think like me and you want to grab a cup of coffee, let's do it. If I do look like you, but I think completely differently than you, send me a private message. Let's grab a cup of coffee and have a chat, because I genuinely believe that it starts with us just being willing to acknowledge that the pain is real and talk about how we can heal together. So for all of you that are willing to meet me in the middle, comment, post, share, and then watch out for the website that is releasing on Sunday.